The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week with your host, Tomasz Fonseca, and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business, from $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters in Real Estate Marketing, Arter SEO.
Welcome back to another episode on the Icons of Real Estate podcast. Now, today, we are thrilled to welcome Mr. Michael LaFido, a trailblazer in the luxury real estate industry and the founder of the Marketing Luxury Group. Now, over the past 20 years, Michael has mastered high caliber marketing strategies that has set him truly apart from, say, the traditional approaches, helping real estate agents and homeowners alike position luxury properties for success. Now, guys, Michael is also the author of the best-selling book, Secrets of Top Luxury Agents, where he shares his proven strategies and insights for excelling in the luxury market. Now, with his innovative methods, including before and after transformations, Michael has redefined the art of selling high-end homes, making him a sought-after mentor and thought leader in his field. As a top-performing agent, his expertise continues to shape the future of luxury real estate marketing. Now, guys, put your hands together and help me welcome Mr. Michael LaFido. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you so much for having me.
No, most definitely. It's truly an honor to have you on our show. Yeah, let's dive straight in and spare us no details. Let's go back to the beginning. What encouraged you or inspired you or motivated you to get into the real estate scene?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So the short answer was when I graduated college, I had a small business that I ran in the summers. I would clean and stain fences and people's patios and their decks. And at one job site, the gentleman came up to me and said, "Hey, have you ever thought about getting into real estate?" I said, "No, I
Okay.
haven't." And he said, "Well, you should think about getting in real estate. You're good with people, et cetera."
Mhm.
So a couple months later, I got my real estate license, and then and then I got into luxury real estate, a few years after that.
No, most definitely. Wow. Um, well, you certainly earned the grit and the key skills you needed just to persevere and be that entrepreneurial mindset from what you did, and then shifted towards the luxury end. Well, let's talk about your company you're running now, the Marketing Luxury Group. How has it? What inspired you to initially create it, and how has it evolved over the
Yes.
years?
Yeah, so the Marketing Luxury Group evolved over the years. It first started out where I was just giving motivational talks to real estate agents,
Hmm.
right? Encouraging them, primarily marketing, think differently, helping them with their positioning, their marketing. Then over the years, that has grown so much so where it, um, it transformed. And so I first was teaching agents how to get more leads, more listings, more
Hmm.
closings. And I actually had this product that I created is a box of DVDs and CDs called the
Amazing.
Ultimate Listing Blueprint.
Wow.
And I had a gentleman purchase this box of
Hmm.
DVDs and CDs, and I didn't realize it at the time, but he was with ERA franchise. So
Hmm.
ERA is still a brokerage here in the States, and I think
Hmm.
they're in other countries too. They're like a Century 21 and Coldwell Banker.
Hmm.
And this gentleman had purchased this product, and he he said, "Hey, I'm going to introduce you to one of my." He worked with ERA. He worked with the
Okay.
top 50 offices in the country. He goes, "I'm going to introduce you to a top office. They're in your backyard.
Hmm.
She's probably going to give you a call." Well, I thought she was just going to recruit me, which she did, but I helped her in her office with some trainings, and they were a luxury brand, and I realized, man, if they could sell luxury, so can I. So I made the shift
Most
to help
definitely.
agents sell more luxury homes because I realized there was a need for it in our industry.
Oh, most definitely. It's always about spotting the gaps in the market, and if we have the expertise and skill set and drive to then pounce on it, we're going to do well. And you've most definitely done more than well. You've done tremendously.
Well,
Um,
thank you.
just in regards to say your strategies. But can you share some key strategies that say differentiate high caliber marketing from traditional real estate approaches?
Yeah. So marketing is a term that there's a lot of things that can fall under marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And most people, when they think marketing, they think print, right? So
Mm-hmm.
a magazine, newspaper, flyers, but it's much more than that, right? It could be your online presence. By
Mm-hmm.
online presence, your YouTube, your LinkedIn, if you have a podcast, right? So I call it repetitive engagement, right? So
Yes.
if somebody's looking to hire a real estate agent to buy a home or sell a home, and they Googled you and they looked you up, man, you should have a big digital footprint as well as when they're driving around town or going to the grocery store, they're reminded of you wherever they go. I call that repetitive engagement.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're talking about luxury, it's like the movie with Robert De Niro called Meet the Parents. It's a small circle of trust. It's
Mm-hmm.
tough to penetrate the circle of trust. Matter of fact, in our book, we had undercover billionaire Glenn Stearns wrote the forward. Glenn Stearns was
Okay.
featured in a show called Undercover Billionaire.
Most
And
definitely.
in my book, when I interviewed him for the book, I asked him, I said, Glenn, you own multiple properties across the
Mm-hmm.
world. When you are buying or selling in those markets, what do you look for in an agent when deciding which agent is right for you to represent you?
Okay.
And the number one thing he said is trust. Can I trust them? So, getting back to your original question, what can you, as an agent, if you're listening to this or you're watching this, what can you do to build trust amongst prospects, people that don't know you, like you, and trust you yet,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so they're probably going to Google, they're going to look you up. Do you have an online presence? Do you have videos out there that help position you as a leading authority? But more importantly, when you're answering questions and you're
Mm-hmm.
giving tips for consumers, that helps the consumer realize your level of
Mm-hmm.
knowledge. And they want, when people are
Okay.
buying or selling, they want to make sure that person is a subject matter expert.
Mm-hmm. No, most definitely. Going back to the point of you talking about keeping on top of the minds of the audience, you always need a steady drumbeat of content and marketing that keeps you on their mind. So when it comes to actually the buying or selling position or decision, you're at the top of the minds. They think of you straight away. And differentiating yourself and building that trust is so necessary. And as you do your marketing and you feed and drip feed content, you become that trusted advisor. Because before they even pick up the phone and call you, they know who you are. Um, no, it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, that's
Just
exactly right. It's not one thing, right? I mean, I
mhm,
tell people all the time, human beings are they're looking for the easy button, right? They want the easy button, but there's no such thing as it's a combination of things,
mhm,
right? And whether it be soccer or American football or sports or real estate or you're in the mortgage business or whatever business, it doesn't happen overnight, right? And so you got to do the fundamentals to be successful.
yes, definitely. Talking about fundamentals and just say getting past challenges, well, especially when marketing in luxury properties, what are some challenges in marketing luxury property and how do you navigate them?
Yeah, so some challenges when you represent a high-end seller and you have a unique property, and every market's different. Some markets are hotter than others overall, but
Mm-hmm.
but within a market, there's micro markets within a market, right? Mini
Hmm.
markets. So in other words, average priced homes in a certain town or community, that's a different market than the top 5%
Hmm.
price point, right? The ultra luxury homes. So, I'm going to speak in generality here, but it's typically a longer sales cycle. In other words,
Hmm.
in many markets, those upper price points take longer to sell.
Hmm.
And
Oh,
so you have to manage your clients' expectations. And sometimes those high net worth individuals are easier to work with than entry level, average price point buyers or sellers, but other times they're not. So I have a client right now.
Hmm.
We've been on for 33 days. It's it's listed around $4 million. We've had one showing, but in this community, there's only been, I think, 3 sales ever above 3.7 million. And so
Wow, yeah.
it's going to take a while. But after 30 days, he's frustrated. We've had one showing. Now we have another scheduled as I speak to you. But I have to do a better job of managing his
His
expectations, saying, hey,
expectations,
I want to
yeah.
get this thing sold like you do, but there's only been 3 sales ever. Here are those sales. And oh, by the way, you've only been on 30 something days. And so, managing expectations is important. It's a longer sales cycle. You need to position the home more effectively. So,
Hmm.
positioning is knowing, having enough expertise and experience that you know what the consumer's expectation is. So, if it's a $4 million property in this example, the consumer is going to expect that, the major appliances and your paint and your doors open properly and everything is functional and working order versus, man, it needs to be blown up and started all over again because nothing works. So
Hmm.
again, managing the expectations is one thing, having a marketing plan that's consistent, and then the third is bringing in subject matter experts or people with voids
Hmm.
as well. So,
Hmm.
Ethan, just like you and your podcast and your team, it was such a great experience when they reached out to me and they reminded me you have systems in the place. Well, you have to have systems in the place when you represent buyers, and buyers are different systems in place when you represent sellers, and and so the client has that same enjoyable experience, but more importantly, you sometimes have to bring in third party experts because sometimes, just like when I wrote this book, we had to have it proofread by several people because I
Hmm.
might read it and not spot something, but when I give it to somebody else, they spot some errors or some voids. Same thing in your marketing. Many agents don't realize it, but if you had somebody else, like subject matter expert like myself or somebody, we'll see voids and we'll be able to poke holes in it to help them improve their product. In this case, the product they represent, and help them market that product
Hmm.
and position the product more effectively. You know, there's some agents that show way too much when they represent a home.
Hmm. Most
In other
definitely.
words, they show a dated bathroom, bedrooms that are dated. There's nothing in real estate school that says you got to show everything, all the
Hmm.
photos.
Most definitely.
Our job is to accentuate the best features and downplay the least favorable. Now, you don't want to mislead. I've had some homes where the photos were they weren't doctored. They were legitimate photos, but they did some post-processing editing.
Hmm.
They really looked good. Now, they didn't touch up any walls or any paint. That would be unethical. But there was definitely a letdown effect when people came in because the
You're right.
photos looked
Yeah.
better than the actual house.
Yeah, no, most definitely over-promising and under-delivering is something we can't do. But going back to what you said about managing expectations, if we understand that, for example, the property is there's only been 3 sales ever on that road at a certain cap. And most definitely, you probably would have told your client by managing their expectations this information. And just looking at the market here today, I wouldn't say we're in a period of breaking all-time highs on the road suddenly with current elections, base rates at all-time highs, and we had COVID that was passed just as well. So yeah, it's very, very, very key to manage the expectations. Just in regards to a client that's starting to become unsettled, how would you manage that?
I like using doctor analogies.
Hmm.
So, Ethan, if you came to me because you were overweight, you wanted to lose weight, your cholesterol was
Hmm.
high, but you smoke 2 packs a day and you like drinking alcohol during the week and a lot on the weekends, but you're telling me you're committed. You want to lose the weight. You want to look good for your
Hmm.
friend's wedding coming up in January or February, but yet the next visit, I ask how things are going. I have you document things and you don't document it and you're still drinking, you're still smoking.
Hmm.
you know you're not really committed. It's a goal, but you're not taking the actions to reach your goal.
Most definitely.
So you're telling me you want to sell your home, Mr. Seller, but I have fill in the blank. In my case, I have 24 years of experience. I know what today's buyers and sellers are looking at.
Mm-hmm.
I have a track record of record sales in different communities, different counties, and I know what it's going to take to get your home sold. So I'm like that
Mm-hmm.
doctor. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear, right? So if your
Mm-hmm.
arteries are clogged, do you want your doctor to say, "Hey, they're only partially clogged. You're okay," or do you want to shoot it? Do you want them to have,
Mm-hmm.
shoot it to you straight and tell you, "Hey, here's what we got to do to get you healthy." Okay, you're going to say, "No, I want a doctor to be honest with me and be blunt
Mm-hmm.
with me." And same thing, I'm going to be direct with you. You might not like the answers, but at the end of the day, I can sleep at night knowing I was honest with you versus
Most
telling you what you
definitely.
want to hear. And you, you can go down the Rolodex of the yellow pages of real estate agents, and most will tell you what you want to hear to get the listing. I'm not here. I don't need to practice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to get you top dollar and get it sold. That's how I get paid. And so if you want it sold and you want the highest possible price, I have the blueprint. I have the formula, but you have to be open to it. You got to trust me because everybody knows, everybody's got opinion in real estate, Mr.
Yeah.
Seller. You know, anybody's going to say, "Oh no, don't do that. They play Monday morning quarterback. They suggest this." You got to trust me. I don't
Most
care what your
definitely.
friends say or a friend of a friend, or you got to trust me.
So
If you can't
just
trust me,
oh
then
sorry.
I don't know what I don't know why
Yeah.
I'm your agent.
Just in regards to say a client that was unrealistic for the valuation of his property, what would you say to them then?
I'd say, Ethan, I have data to support my
Mm-hmm.
price. I don't have the data to support yours, but perhaps maybe you're aware of something that I'm not. So, do you have any comps that you can provide me to justify your price?
Mm-hmm.
Because I have the comps to justify mine.
Most definitely. Okay, wow, no, very, very
And
knowledgeable
of
as
course, most of
yeah,
the
go on.
times, no, I don't have it, but I think it's worth this, or I'd like to get this, or I have this into it. And as you know, that means nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, by using a data-driven approach, and reminding them the data that you have, and today's consumer has more
Mm-hmm.
data through websites and those third-party platforms than ever before. They have the data at their fingertips, and they're going to ask us about it. And if we don't have the data to support our price, but just say we think it's worth that, or that's how much we have into it, we're not going to get the top dollar.
Most definitely. And at the at the most baseline, people can't argue with the facts and the truths. The truths are this is how many properties have sold and at what price. And if they're still being unrealistic, I can imagine find another agent. I'm not damaging my reputation and we're not damaging rapport by it sitting on the market and it going nowhere. I'm the doctor. You listen to me because I know the facts, and you can't argue with the facts.
Yep, that's
um,
exactly right.
yeah,
And back
just
up the facts, just like a doctor
mhm,
backs up his facts with studies or case studies or reports. If you have a track record of selling similar properties or
mhm,
similar area, or maybe you're an agent that that has some sales that other agents failed at, but you
mhm,
sold it. Well, then you're turning from, I call it, mess to success.
mhm.
Uh, so
Just looking at the future of the luxury real estate scene, where do you see the future of luxury real estate marketing heading? Well, particularly with all the things that are coming out now, like advancement in technology, like AI, virtual staging, cryptocurrency transactions. Where do you see? Um,
yeah, I mean,
um,
over the last 4 years during COVID, there's been more millionaires, maybe billionaires made, at
mhm,
least in the States. I can't speak for other countries. So there's definitely more and more wealth out there. There's more wealth to be made. You brought up AI and blockchain and crypto, and I'm a crypto certified agent, and I understand that there's a lot of people that are looking to liquidate. Bitcoin
mhm,
hit 100,000. And some people want to liquidate a little bit, and so uh, I definitely feel like the luxury market will continue to be strong. They're kind of in their own little bubble.
mhm,
Again, global economy, the global markets over the last year been hurting a little bit with inflation, but obviously that upper 10% is less affected than, the bottom 20 or 30% is.
Most definitely. Wow. Wow. Very, very informative. But a question for you: where do you go from here? And like, what are your goals moving forward?
Yeah, so I wear two hats. So I'm a luxury real estate agent in the
Hmm.
Chicago, Illinois. So I have a small team there. And then I run my consulting business, right? I'm a
Hmm.
speaker, trainer, author, coach. So we want to continue to grow that business, and I want to bring in other trainers, people that would take my content and
Hmm.
train it respectively in other markets. That's how you scale up, right? If you're a solo
Okay.
agent, how do you scale up? You have a buyer's agent and you eventually build a team.
Hmm.
Well, you want to sell shoes, you have one shoe store. If you want to scale up, you get two shoe stores. Well, for me to scale up, I need to have other trainers teaching my content so I'm not on a plane all the time. So that's where I'm going to next, Ethan, is continue to increase um, our client database. We have a really we just wrote a best-selling book called Secret to Top Luxury Agents, and
Hmm.
uh, we want to get thousands of agents to be reading that book.
Most definitely. And yeah, amen to that. I'm going to bless the targets and goals moving forward when I do my Friday prayers and at shul. Um, in regards to us now, the Icons of Real Estate podcast is the number one real estate podcast network. And we're passionate about making podcasting accessible for all. I would ask you, what if you had a podcast about what would you call it? But you already have one, don't you?
I do. I have a podcast. We just released our 300th episode. Uh, it's called Luxury Listing Specialist. You can
Amazing.
find it on iTunes and the rest of the podcast platforms. Uh, and we focus on helping agents, just like we're doing here, right? Working
Hmm.
on mindset, developing systems, increasing their average sale price, breaking into luxury. So that's kind of what we focus on. So I love the fact that what you're doing and appreciate what you're doing for the industry and even the consumer.
Most definitely. How can our audience reach you, Michael?
I'm online, right? So our YouTube channel is, you can look it up, Marketing Luxury Group, or it might even be under Luxury Listing Specialist. We produce a ton of content that's free. We have a vlog called Lux Redefined, Luxe, redefined.com. Redefined.
Hmm.
And then, of course, our course is a self-paced luxury designation course,
Boom.
16 modules, and it's two parts. The first part is ways to attract more opportunities. We need more opportunities.
Hmm.
We have two types of opportunities as real estate agents, cold and warm.
Hmm.
Cold opportunities are have not mets, people that have not met yet.
Hmm.
You haven't met them, they haven't met you, canceled, expired, it's for sale by owners. Uh, you go to a networking event, you don't know anybody. Those are all cold. The opposite of cold are warm opportunities. Those are
Okay.
have mets, people that you have met and they've met you, your database, your sphere, people that know you, like you, and trust you.
Hmm.
And so we put a ton of free content out there, but then those that are really dedicated, you might consider our designation, and that's just luxurylistingspecialist.com, luxury listing
Tremendous.
specialist. But I want to give all your listeners our book for free as well. We have a book that just hit bestseller in May called Secrets of Top Luxury Agents. It's on Audible, so you can find it on Barnes and Noble and Amazon. It's on Audible. We have soft cover, we have hardcover,
Hmm.
and we have Kindle. But I'll give you the everybody go to freeluxurybook.com, free luxury book, and instead of spending $30 plus shipping and handling, you can get it absolutely free. Just pay the shipping and handling. And if you're out of the country, you can get the free download.
Most definitely. I'll be downloading that right after we finish. Thank you. And
Okay.
if any
You
of you
like it? Leave me a review.
and if any of you have just initially missed it, skip it back or look below. We'll drop every single where you can get in touch. Download the free luxury book too. And wow, guys, it's been a blast, Michael. Thank you so much for coming on. Um, yeah, that's another episode at the Icons of Real Estate podcast with Ethan Thomas and Michael LaFido. Thank you guys, and see you next time. Bye bye.
Thank you.